Okay. So I think we have about 24 people in the lectures. So, and I'm thrilled about it, but we're going to have to somehow be able to, what's the word I want to say? We want to be able to organize it so that everybody gets a chance to talk. So I was wondering if you could see next to your participant name a little hand. You guys see that?
No. Oh, wait.
There should be a little hand.
Yeah, I see it.
The raise
Okay.
hand button?
Yeah, and if you want to say something, raise that hand and it'll show on my end, and then I can call you by name. Because with this many people, you know, there's a chance we'll all start talking at once and it can be kind of crowded. Okay?
I don't see. Oh, I see
Yeah, I
it.
don't
It's in
see
an. It's
it.
like in an off window.
Yeah.
Okay.
Participant.
You
I
click
don't see it. Where
participants
is
and
it
it's if you're on computer, it should be right down there at the bottom of that page, that window that pops up.
Right.
I found
Okay.
it.
Awesome. So what are we doing today? Today, we're going to talk about the vision, your vision, presentation ecosystem, defining your message. That's important for this week's assignment 2.4. Then we're going to talk about the audience as a hero. Can't stress that enough. We're going to go over the myths and heroes that is kind of the formula we use. We're going to talk about the star moment, brainstorming, the big ideas, visual thinking, and how to be giving proper critique and feedback, and then the assignments. Before I go on, did you receive today in your invitation the 2 questions we're going to do for the breakout rooms?
Yes.
Yeah.
I briefly previewed it.
Okay, if not, here it is, because we're going to go and break out into rooms. And you're going to, in that breakout room, pick a leader. And then you're each going to talk about who you would like to work for in 4 years from today. If you don't want to work for anybody, then you say, I want to start my own business, and this is what I want to do. And these are the type of clients I'm searching for. So 4 years from now, you've got to imagine who you want to work for and what kind of job specifically do you want to do for that company. So you discuss it in your group. Leader, make sure you remember or take notes of what each of your classmates is doing. And then when we come back to the actual group, your leaders are going to present that information to the other groups. Any questions about what we're doing, guys? Okay,
No.
now hang in there with me because we're going to try this again. This system, hold on.
No.
No?
Sorry, I'm sorry. I was talking to somebody.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Breakout rooms. I'm going to try to give you guys about, do you think you can handle it in 7 minutes?
Sure.
Okay. There we go. Breakout rooms. There's 24. Okay, here we go. Okay, guys, how'd it go?
Went great.
You all
Press for
ready?
time.
Okay.
That we are.
Okay,
So,
this is what
Got
you're
it in
going to
just
do.
in time.
Your team leader is going to raise the little icon hand, and I'm going to call on the team leaders to tell me the information about the rest of you, okay? So let's start with Javier.
Alrighty. And so for our group, in 4 years for myself, I see myself in R&D research, doing rapid prototyping and 3D printing, working for myself. Yeah, just kind of don't want to work for anyone anymore. I'm just a little too opinionated to have to deal with bosses. Our friend Mark, he wants to work in a film studio, doing movie production, working for himself as well. Daniel wants to work in video games, so any video game company that'll take him for video game programming. Jensen wants to work for a recording label doing marketing and advertising. And Ricardo wants to work in a writer's guild doing screenplays and storyboarding.
Cool, thank you. All right, Ian.
Sorry about that. So I started off asking Ollie, right, the two questions, and she said she wanted to be a concept art director for video games, and she wanted to have a small business as an animation studio, and she would like to work with an Invader Sim animator called Jordan Vasquez. I also asked Abigail, and she basically told me that she wants to be an independent freelancer. She would like to work with multiple small companies, and she's a photographer as well, so she would actually enjoy selling prints. And she did mention that she had no one in particular to work with. She didn't really have anyone like an individual. She just wants to help people, and such as students or people who want to design logos.
Yeah, you can be a freelancer as long as you can identify the clients you want. That's cool.
Yes. So I asked Peyton, and he told me that his ultimate vision is to start a Christian record label, and I applaud that. I think that's totally awesome. He wants to create a place for artists to pour their hearts in diverse ways in a no cookie cutter format. So he's basically he criticized the current music industry for Christians, saying it's too cookie cutter, and he wants to diversify that, which I think is excellent. And he wants to work with Goatee Records. I spoke with Orly, and this is where I kind of started running out of time, so I didn't get to really collect that much information. But she did say she wants to be an artist, an artistic graphic designer, and she would eventually like to work with Square Enix and Nintendo. Dope. Matthew told me he wanted to be a freelancer with his cousin. And me, I want to work
freelance or what?
I didn't get to ask him. Could you answer that question, Matthew?
Yeah, I want to be a freelancer for film.
Okay.
Film production?
Yeah.
And I guess me, I want to have like a presence established in the music industry. Maybe not be like a huge name, but have some following at the very least.
What
So
do
I
you
can-
mean by presence? Do you want to sing, produce, write, what?
Producer. I'm a producer.
Producer, okay.
So I guess I would like to end up working with the top selling artists, really. People like Drake, Kanye West, Kendrick Lamar, Childish Gambino. Those in the hip hop industry, I really look up to them, and they've changed my life with their music, and I really look up to them.
So do you want to like freelance produce for them, or maybe establish a production company and have them come to you? How is it you want to do that?
Well, I want to basically get signed to a record label.
Okay, gotcha.
Sony would be a good one, but that's a pipe dream, basically.
Well, dream big and you'll get there. You'll get there. Okay, Priscilla. Priscilla, can you hear me? No, let's try Dominic.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was muted for some reason.
Okay, Dominic,
can
you
go
mind if I let Priscilla go first?
I was just about to suggest that.
Okay,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
What a
Of
jump.
course. No problem.
So Derek's personal dream was to become an illustrator for DC Comics or do design work. He you have a t-shirt business, I believe, and he wants to make general art-based crafts like candles, basically become like an entrepreneur. My top dream is to work for like a film industry, a film production company, so that I can work on like film soundtracks or like Disney or I don't know, Nickelodeon for their TV shows. But realistically, what I really want to do is open up my own studio and make it so that local artists have better access to recording their music. For Matthew, he wants to be a senior level game designer for Activision. He told us that he served 4 years in the Marine Corps, and he was thinking about developing this VR war game type of program to train people before they go, out overseas. So it'll train them in different types of environments before they go and do the real thing. So I thought that was really cool. For Daniela, she wanted to own her own studio, helping artists produce music of any genre and helping her friends manage their company. Angel, yeah, the last three, we had to wrap it up real quick, but Angel wants to do another year at Full Sail after the 4 years to get his master's in game design. And like Matthew, he wants to try to work for Activision. Jessica, she wants to work for Warner Brothers on their visual tech team. So that's pretty cool too. And then last we have Martino. He wants to start local with computer animation, doing work on like YouTube, try to move on up working with an animation company and then moving from there to starting his own animation company. And that was it for us.
Thank you, Priscilla. Okay, are you ready, Dominic?
I am. We've got a little pressed for time. We had a problem with the audio. But Daniel said that he really wants to work for Apple and their software engineering. He said he admired Steve Jobs' work ethic, and he has enjoyed his sermons because he is very good at, elaborating what kind of, progress they're making. I mean, which I also agree has probably, like, Apple's probably used to, like, Steve Jobs is probably one of the best speakers I think I've ever seen. Jordan said he'd like to work for Tesla. He's going to do computer animation and Full Sail. He said he would enjoy being a part of their innovation. He brought up the truck, the Tesla truck, the one with the window that broke.
Room for
Nathan,
improvement.
Yeah.
a lot of improvements. Especially if they're taking pride in how strong the thing is. Nathan said that he's doing game design at Full Sail and would like to work for Naughty Dog or Bungie. Apparently, from what he was saying, Naughty Dog was actually started by Full Sail students, so that's pretty cool. Danya is going into computer animation. He says that he would like to work for Nick Animation to possibly in the future create his own cartoon or work on their current shows. I myself I am going into game development programming, and I want to, in 4 years, work at Valve Software. They produce video games occasionally, but they have the largest online marketplace for video games called Steam. But they primarily deal with, a ton of different, like, testing of new, tech. Like, they were one of the first people to start working on VR and make it almost, getting close to household. But I actually reached out to their director of the department of their development programming, and he's I'm gonna have an interview with him probably in the next couple weeks to just kind of figure out what they're doing there, which is
Smart, very good. So, are you interested in the beta testing or the sales aspect of it?
so. I don't know if I'm particularly invested in the video game part, but one of the big things is I'm gonna have to understand the if I'm going to be developing game engines, things that they're testing a lot of. Right now they're working on this, what they call Source 2, which has been technically in development about 10 years. It's supposed to be one of the more revolutionary game engines. And, just the idea that they work on something so consistently for years, and they have so many different levels of testing that they have to go through before they release a product. So it's like, I enjoy that aspect because I'm fine working on something for years as long as it gets done right.
Good.
Especially the innovation of everything that they do.
You just want Half-Life 3 early. That's all.
Okay, stop. I have a 1-to-1 scale gravity gun, so please don't judge.
And it's smart to check with those people in the industry and say, what do you foresee, what your needs are, what are you doing with, and make it clear to them, I'm not here to ask you for a job. I'm here to find out what it is that you guys do because I want to prepare for the future. And you'd be surprised, a lot of them are willing to talk to you and tell you, because they love to talk about their work, so.
I mean, what do people enjoy more?
Yeah,
Talking about
so
themselves or talking about other people?
exactly. So don't worry about ever asking, and it does give you quite a lot of insight. So good work. Okay, so did you guys notice that you had commonalities?
Yes.
Do you
Yeah.
think you guys will ever be able to maybe network and do some work together, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Possibly.
Okay. With this presentation, we're going to do in week 4, you're going to be pitching to that future, and you're going to pretend that you have graduated already from Full Sail, have the diploma in your hand, and you have a little bit of experience, not much. You're like entry level. And so in this presentation, you're going to pitch yourself, sell yourself to that audience. So from today, what we need to do, and that's why we did this little exercise, is in your mind, you need to start narrowing down who it is you want to work for and what it is you want to do for them. And if you're an entrepreneur and want to start your own business, then you're going to have to describe very well what that business offers and what kind of clients you're looking for. Okay, so this was the purpose of doing this, so that we can start thinking about that. Okay, now let's go on. Let's talk about the vision. And the vision is like your story, your journey, your brand, who you are is your vision. So people think, we have ideas, and we distinguish ourselves from animals because we think with purpose, okay? We think with the purpose of spreading ideas and changing people. We don't just think for the sake of maybe just thinking. It's purposeful. We need to help other people see what our vision, our idea, our thoughts are. Now, unfortunately, we are not connected like computers. So we have to rely on storytelling, visuals, and descriptive vocabulary to get across our ideas, and not only to get across our ideas, to help them see it and then to help them move them to where we want, to our objective. Is this making sense, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, feel free to hop in with comments. Okay, so what are the elements that we need? Well, first we need a story. And remember from last week, we talked about a lot of different story methods, narratives. But at this point, we're going to stick to the simple beginning, middle, and end standard narrative. You can, as you mature in your writing and your speaking, have different forms of narrative, but for this, we're going to stick with this one. Now, Nancy tells us in her book, in her sparkline, that we have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So in the beginning is what is. You tell me, if you know, raise your hand, what is the concept of what is? If you're gonna tell a story and you begin with what is. Okay, Orla.
Pronounced Orly, and
Can't hear you, honey, a little louder.
hello, do you hear me?
A little louder.
Raise the sensitivity of your microphone, please.
This is my computer. I never used it before for Zoom, so I don't know how to do that.
Okay, that's okay. Go ahead, try it.
All right, so I believe what is shows like how the world is now, and what, like, basically what it is, what's our norm, what are we used to.
Okay, that is what's our norm. Priscilla, can you add a little more to that? What would be the what is?
I would piggyback off of what she said. It is the current state of how things are and what we're used to. In our reading, Nancy states that people don't like change. It throws them off from their normal routine. So our job as a presenter is to try to change their way of thinking.
Okay, so
Kind of sounds like to me like, what's your purpose? Like this is what is I got to present to you. This is where I'm going to start, and this is my idea, and this is kind of the introduction to what you're going into. It seems like to me.
kind of, yeah. Ricardo.
The way I understand it, it would be the setup, where you introduce like what you're going to be talking about, just to give the audience kind of something what to expect before you actually lay on the main ideas that you want to get to.
Okay, you all have some correct parts that you gave me. It is partly the setup. It is partly your vision, where you're coming from. When we say what is, we tell them the status quo, who we are, what we know about them, that we understand their need. So you're setting up the fact of this, it's like your introduction. This is who I am. This is who I think you are. And this is what I feel you need. Or this is what I understand that you have a need for. Understand?
Yes.
So that's the beginning. Now in the middle, we go through something called the contrast. And the contrast, it deals with the present, the future, the present, the future. So what do you think could be in the middle?
How to get there?
Okay, let me clear this and give me some new hands. Okay, all right, Derek.
The middle, where like I said, it shows the contrast, but it's the showing of the what is and the what can be, and by showcasing that contrast, you point out the flaws in the what is.
Very good. Now, exactly what you said, except I would move one word. We don't call it flaws. We call it challenges or opportunities, because your audience doesn't like the word flaws. If you tell your people you're pitching for, these are the flaws you have, you're not endearing them to yourself. So these are the challenges. These are the opportunities that are available for growth. And it's a way of showing this is the present, this is the future, like you said. This is what I can bring, this is what I can offer. Okay, so that's one part of the contrast in the middle. Daniel, what else do you think it could be?
I guess kind of to piggyback off of what you and he said, it's the current situation, it's the current usage, and the future would be either development, improvement, adaptation, expansion of, availability. It could probably, it would incorporate a much wider base than what it is now. So, I guess, for example, you have a car that gets 30 miles per gallon and it's got so many safety features, and then that would be your current. So your future would be, we're going electric, so you don't have to spend money on gas. And the safety features is we are 100% proof it cannot roll over. I guess that would be my example. I could be wrong, but.
So like the benefits to them.
Yes.
What else could we put in the middle as far as information for them? Okay, we've already said, comparing their challenges and their opportunities for growth, the benefits to the future. What kind of information about ourselves can we give them in the middle? Let's see.
I got an answer. You can give them like your story or something that might be able to keep their attention while you're giving them your information.
Okay, this whole thing though is our story. So we can give them a story in the middle. Yes, we can. You're right. It could be what we call a star moment, which is a story. It could be. Let's see. Priscilla.
I would say that the middle should be your way of explaining how to get to what could happen.
Exactly. So it's your big idea is
right.
contained in the middle. We call it also a thesis statement.
Mm-hmm.
It's that big idea that explains not only what the future can be like, what we can contribute, but how we're going to do it. Okay? Good. Very good, guys. Now, the end. Whoops. Hear me. The end. The what could be includes a call to action. Anybody have an idea what a call to action is? A call to action. I thought I saw a hand.
It's like giving them a reason to actually do something about it.
Nope. That was in the middle. Derek, any idea?
The call to action is the call for them to move forward with the big idea, for them to leave and be the cogs in the machine of the idea, to go and move forward with it.
A little bit closer when you started with that idea. It's for them to lead in what way? Priscilla, any idea?
I would say give them a reason to want to leave that old way of thinking behind to change their future.
All three are correct, but it's not just give them a reason, it's stated. If you want your future to be this, then hire me. Plain, simple English, hire me. If you do not make that call to action at the end, it's like giving them all this information, all these are ideas, direction, and then at the end not telling them what you want them to do. So that's where in the spark line you get the what could be. The what could be is that future vision. If you agree and if you want this, then hire me is the call to action. Okay? All right. Let's talk about the presentation ecosystem. Everybody understand what an ecosystem is? It's like the environment is called the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
For a presentation to be able to exist, you need the message. The message is your story, your big idea, your call to action. Then you need the visuals. Remember, we stressed that words alone don't have the impact of words with images. So your presentation has to have that. And finally, your delivery, the use of the vocal toolbox, how you deliver your message, your facial expressions, the sound in your voice is a key part of convincing people. So these three have to align in your presentation and support each other so that you can have an excellent ecosystem. Now, the most important thing, and I want you to take particularly note of this or write it down or whatever, because this is going to be crucial, is you have to know how to define the message. The message is your big idea, your thesis, your this is how I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. Okay? So let's talk about it. A big idea must be a unique point of view. It has to be your original idea. It has to tell the audience what's in it for them. And we've all mentioned these things. And it must be in a complete sentence. It can't be scattered all over the speech. It's like a thesis statement. Now, here's an important concept to know. MIS, mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. This means that your big idea must be unique and special to only you. If anybody else has this particular thing, it can't be exclusive. I don't know if you guys, like when you're dating something and someone and you say you want to be exclusive, that's pretty clear, right? Or am I not with it right now?
Oh, you're right.
It's pretty on who you're dating.
Peyton, you had a question?
Yeah, would you say this is something along the lines of a vision statement?
Yes, yes. But we call it a big idea, but you could call it a vision statement. You can also call it a thesis. Yes, very good. Okay, collectively exhaustive. That means you have to present it in a way where it is absolutely clear what you're offering, how you're going to achieve it, and, you know, describe it, give examples, give details. It isn't something you're just going to say, I'm here to change the world. You know, that's too general. Everybody with me?
Yes.
Any
Yes.
questions?
Yes.
But that's a good attitude to have, though.
It's a wonderful attitude, but it's an attitude everybody should have, and it's very common, you know?
Yeah.
What was it, the old thing about, I want world peace? Well, don't we all? You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's look at some examples I've given. And you're going to tell me why I have no and why I have yes. So somebody writes, I have experience with C++. And I say, no, that's not a big idea. Why? Raise your hand. Okay. So Priscilla?
It's not mutually exclusive. There's hundreds of thousands of people out there that know how to use that and they have experience with it. So it doesn't make them stand out.
That's right. There's another reason. Daniel?
Because it's not an idea, it's just a blank statement.
It's a statement. Yeah, there's no description. There's no examples. There's nothing. So exactly. Okay. How about the next one? With the experience I have in C++, I am able to program a computer to do face recognition in less than a minute. And I put yes. Anybody want to tell me? Okay, Orlith.
Is it because it's exclusive to that person? That person is able to do face recognition in less than a minute.
Yes, it's very exclusive to that person, and the person explains how. Okay, there's detail in there about how she's going to achieve it and what's in it for the audience. Okay, the next one, let's try. I am a visionary, talented, and hard worker. Dominic.
I mean, for that one particularly, it's very like self-involved. It's pretty much like saying, I'm the best at this and no one else can come close. It's a very Kanye West thing to say, if we're gonna be honest. I mean, it completely isolates the audience and makes the audience feel like, you know, lesser than, or just judge them.
Well, and secondly, those are traits. They're not ideas. A big idea cannot be a trait. It cannot be you, like you're saying, self-involved. It can't be you, and it can't be a trait, and it can't be your experience or your education, because someone is going to have the equal of your experience or education along the line. Somebody say something? No? Okay. Back to your comment also, honestly, not trying to be funny, but who's gonna say, I have no talent, I'm lazy, and I absolutely have tunnel vision? You know, nobody's gonna say that. Everybody's gonna claim this. So because it's self-involved, because it's kind of, you know, it's traits. It's not an idea. And it really offers no kind of explanation or nothing that's in it for the audience. And it kind of does sound indulgent, doesn't it? So you guys agree with that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I want to emphasize this because, guys, time and time, I have students that are tempted to say, I can offer you my skills and my experience and my education. And while that's wonderful, those are not a big idea because other people can offer the same. So you're going to have to come up with some creative something that you can offer. Okay? Here's the next one. I envision a recording studio that caters to all the needs of artists, a one-stop place for recording, producing, marketing, and distribution. I say yes. Who tells me why? Why did I say yes? Daniel.
Because this one is telling the audience what they're actually envisioning.
It's telling them what, and what else is it telling them? Another important part. The how. The how. I'm going to offer you this, and this is how I'm going to do it. Okay? Here's the next one. Why do I keep doing this, guys? My experience in cinematic photography and video production, I can offer you quality interactive documentaries that will enhance the learning experience. Okay, that's a yes. Why? That's a hand here somewhere. Wait a minute, coming to you. Dominic.
Well, for this one specifically, when we're reading this, it kind of seems like this person's selling themselves. Like they're making themselves sound, you know, like a necessity I can't pass up. You know, like if I were hiring someone to work on a project with me, I think if I heard this, I'd just say yes. Because this person is confident, not overconfident, but they believe in their capabilities, which is enough to do most things.
Okay.
As long as you have the confidence to.
I agree with all that. That being said, can you tell me, and you're right, can you tell me what is the specific thing they're selling? Besides themselves, what product?
It looks like they're trying to sell, when they, like the 3 words that really stick out is quality interactive documentaries.
Okay, good. That's the product. Does he tell them what's in it for them? Why is this product good?
He's stating that he has experience and that, you know, he can enhance the learning experience for other people.
Okay, so
which is vital.
Which is vital, right? So this is a very comprehensive, qualitative, persuasive thesis or big idea. Okay, exactly what you're saying. He is sounding confident in that he knows exactly the product he's offering, the big idea, and how to appeal to how it benefits them. So that, you know, that says a lot. And I agree with you. I would hire them. Okay, the last one is kind of obvious, but oops. Everybody understand why this one's a no?
Yes.
And it's funny because a lot of times you will get people who say, I want to fulfill my vision, or I want to be the next Kanye West, or I want to...
No one wants that.
Or... All right, guys. Or just using your example, or I want to change the world, or I want to make people happy. Okay, all those things are nice, but guess what? The employers don't care what you want. They really don't care. So don't go there.
Isn't it all about what they want?
I want. No. They care about what you can offer. Not, I want to, I see sometimes I want to reach my full potential in development. Well, la-di-da, that's nice, but they don't care. Okay, so I'm just being honest here. If somebody had a question? No? Okay. So do you understand how I need you to write a big idea? It is a matter of what concept or product you or vision you have to offer, and how are you going to do it? How are you going to get there? Stick to the essentials. Once you have your big idea, describe it, give examples, detail it. Don't go off to the Netherlands giving me your philosophy of music, okay? Because your presentation can be only 5 minutes long. If you go off talking about things that aren't essential to the big idea, first of all, you're going to go over your time. And second of all, you're going to lose your audience. So refrain from the philosophy, my philosophy of, you know, you should do this thing this way or that. Never tell the audience you should do. It's more like there are opportunities to, or there are challenges that can be solved by, okay? The audience, those hiring you, can be very ego sensitive. So you have to be very careful about how you phrase what you have to offer, okay? It's okay to express yourself and your individuality, but remember, the audience is always and foremost the hero. So you got to cater to them. Now, let's talk about planning that presentation. Back to what I just said. Your audience is your hero. You have to write this presentation with them in mind. So one of the things that I see in a lot of these presentation plans, the speeches I get, is a lot of I-centered material. I want, I can, I do, okay. It is fine to use the noun I or the pronoun I, but you have to include your audience along the way. So once in a while, use pronouns like we or us or you. Not you guys, okay? You guys is too informal. But we or us or you, those are good pronouns to keep away from being too I-centered in the way that you, we call that voice, in the way that you voice your story. Everybody got it?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing we have to do is cultivate a healthy relationship with the audience. This is very, very important in the beginning, in the status, what is part, okay? So how do we do this? Well, we do audience segmentation. Do you remember from last week what we talked about when we saw Reagan and audience segmentation? Can somebody summarize that for me a little bit? I want to make sure you got that concept. Okay, Tracy? Tracy, I think your mic is in mute. Okay, let's try Priscilla.
I remember that he had different audiences that he was directly speaking to, so that he could basically cover a whole diverse nation basically to talk to.
And he was able to tailor what he said to each one of them, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's part of audience segmentation. It's knowing who your audience is. And we do that by doing research on the internet. It will tell us research on the demographics, the context, and their beliefs. And even though that is not part of the speech, the script for the speech, it will help you incredibly to be able to speak directly to your audience in that speech. In the beginning, you have to be able to state to your audience what you know is their vision and their mission. Anybody understand what, can you tell me, is the mission and the vision of a company or of an organization? Not specifically, but what does the term mean? Daniel.
So not specifically, their objective to better their customer base, to increase their customer base, and to provide a service that will be beneficial not only to them by obviously profit, but to the consumer or their audience, I should say, in more ways than one.
Turned off the.
It would, I mean, giving an example would be a little easier. Say like Wounded Warrior Project. Their vision is to cover every single wounded warrior and help them with every single issue that they have, whether it literally be, I need somebody to talk to for 5 minutes. That's their vision, is to have somebody there for you when you need it.
That's a good example. Excellently put. Exactly. It is their reason for being. Like Daniel said, it's their objective. Why do they exist? And what do they want to do in the future also? How does this help you cultivate a relationship with the company if you're able to tell them, express to them, I understand, just like Daniel just did for Wounded Warriors, this is your vision and mission, I understand it. How does that help you cultivate a relationship with them if you put this at the start of your speech?
You can share with them that you have the same vision and a way that together you can enhance that vision.
Exactly. You can show commonality, which will cause resonance, which will cause them to trust you, to listen to you, okay? They have a reason to listen to you because this person has established that they know what makes us tick and they know what we are about. And that's important to put in the beginning, because if you don't gain their trust in the beginning, sorry if you hear background noise, guys, I got 2 big labs, noisy. So in the beginning, you have to establish and get that trust. And one of the ways that you do that is by sharing that you know their mission and their vision, okay? It's just an old saying, you know, it's like writing a letter and addressing it to whom it may concern. You pour out all your emotions, but unless you are able to have them relate to you and see that you recognize why they exist, then the whole thing falls flat. Okay. We talked about audience segmentation. These are the particularly the demographics, the psychological, and the contextual. Now, I'm going to send you guys this next aid. It's a job aid. This is not an assignment. Okay, everybody get it? This is not an assignment. It is a job aid that I'm going to send to you so that when you go on the web and you look up your companies or the clients that you want to have, you can use these questions to help you learn more about them. Okay? For example, again, their mission and vision, you can pretty much Google, you know, mission and vision for Disney World or any of the big major companies. For their challenges, often you can find related articles in journals or newspapers, who their customers and clients are. All these questions will help you to get to know them better, okay? Again, I'm not requiring you to answer these in your presentation plan. I'm not requiring you to send me the answers to these. This is just so if you go and do a Google search, you know some questions to help you find out more about them. And these questions can be used for future jobs that you may be interested in, okay? Questions so far?
Nope.
Okay. Now let's talk about the story, because we have to put all this in a story. It's a speech, but it's a speech in a story narrative template. And what do we use as our organization is something that was found by Joseph Campbell. And he wrote A Hero with 1,000 Faces. He is a writer, an editor, and a lecturer. And what he came up with is the 17th stage monomyth. According to Campbell, this structure of telling stories exists just across every culture. It is the use of archetypes of the hero. So for example, this structure could be attached to the story of the original Star Wars. Or it could be attached to any story that is like an action adventure with a hero. And if you look at it this way, equilibrium, stability, on your spark line is what? What section?
The end.
The what?
The end or the beginning.
It's the, yeah, the beginning. Just a minute, guys, 1 second. It's the status in the beginning is your equilibrium. What is? For some reason, I'm getting, you guys hold on for a minute.
All right.
There. Whew, I was getting a low battery. Sorry. Okay, so in your spark line, it would be your status quo. In a movie like Star Wars, the original one, okay? Are you guys familiar with Star Wars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So first there's Luke Skywalker, and he's on the farm with his aunt and uncle. And then he gets a call to adventure. What is that call, guys? Hands up. Anybody knows what that call to adventure is?
Oh.
I've never seen one single Star Wars before.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You're good.
Okay, Derek.
His call to adventure was uh, the finding of the droid and the message from Leia.
Very good.
The call to
Okay,
adventure.
exactly. Then next comes his refusal to the call to adventure. Can anybody tell me why he refused it? Okay, I saw a hand up. Priscilla?
So I'm not gonna lie, it's been a few years, but
Oh,
I'm pretty
yeah. We all have.
because he doubted himself and he was so used to, you know, the everyday routine that he was, I guess, kind of intimidated about, like, no, that me really, like, why would you pick me? That kind of.
And who did he use as an excuse?
I don't remember.
Can
I
somebody
think,
else?
didn't he not want to leave his family or whoever at the time?
That's right, his aunt and uncle. He
Aunt and Uncle
doubted
Boo.
himself.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Derek.
I'm going to say Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. He had to help them continue working the farm.
That's right. Okay.
I mean, I don't really remember much from the Star Wars franchise outside of the best character in the world, Jar Jar, but I mean... It's a Jar Jar!
Oh, okay.
It's a Annie!
Anyway, that's another movie. We're talking... Please. Oh, God. Okay. Anyway, when he finally crosses the threshold, what event causes him to start the adventure? Who can tell me? It's moving on me.
The fact that they killed his aunt and uncle.
Yes, and so he had no more excuse and he had to go. Okay, so I can go on forever and ever because all these parts down here is what in the spark line would be the middle, the drama. Okay, and all the drama is, you know, the ups and downs he had, the experiences, the learning, the growth, all of that. You remember who was it that guided him? The little guy with the ears. What was his name?
Yoda.
Yoda. And also Obi-Wan.
That was a separate
Kenobi.
movie too, because it was Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh,
Okay.
God. Are we going to really do this?
Okay. So we would, okay, I'm not going to torture us for much longer.
There are 2 mentors, if that counts for anything.
Okay, but the last one, when he crosses the threshold into the end of the movie, what events happen here? Who is with him?
His mentor.
And who else? Oh God, guys, come on.
I need a refresh.
Father?
No, not his father.
Leia, Han Solo, the droids. It depends on where you want to stop at the end of the first movie. Well, long story short, depends on which movie you want to end on, but basically his family and his friends, well,
Right.
his friends are around him.
We're going to end in there in the first movie. It's Leia, Han Solo, the droids, his friends. So what I'm trying to say, just as you applied this to Star Wars, you can apply it to Star Trek, you can apply it to the X-Men, you can apply this to about any adventure story, right?
Yeah.
Do you see that if you flatten out the circle, you're basically talking about what is, then the middle, the contrast, and the end, what could be call to action end. You see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Questions? Okay. This is used in many, many movies. I mean, I'm not real good at remembering movies, but if you play this and try to fit other action adventure movies in it, you will see it works. Okay. The audience will always be the hero. They're the main character. Now, this is confusing because you will say, Dr. Boyer, how can the audience be the main character when this is a story about me? Well, let me explain it this way. You have to pretend that you are a writer-director and you're writing your story, but you're showing the main character how to act it out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So although this is your story, you have to tell it in a way in which you include your audience and you're able to walk them through your story. Any questions on that concept? Okay. Let me see. Who can paraphrase this? Explain it back to me in your own way. What does it say in your mind? And I'm not going to ding you wrong or right. I just want to make sure you guys are understanding it. I need to see some hands up. Oh my God, the silence says you don't understand it. Okay, again, think of this as a story that's being written by Steven Spielberg, okay? And he's writing about this character based on his own life. But he has to somehow lead the story, the audience through the story, and have the audience understand the story from their own perspective. Does this make sense, guys?
Yes.
Any questions?
No.
No, not questions. I understand it.
So you're just talking about the hero, just kind of telling their story in which way the audience can kind of relate or understand it themselves, or
Yeah,
in a way that
understand
relates
it
to them.
from their own perspective.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
This is a little off topic. I cannot find the raised hand button.
Oh,
I just found it.
Are you on a computer, like a laptop?
I had to click on the participants button at the bottom to
Yeah.
find it.
Why am I hearing echo?
Find Mike.
Found it.
Are we okay now? Okay. The second point, the individual is tied to the resolution of the quest. Remember, the audience is going to be tied to the resolution. In other words, at the end, it is the audience who has to make a decision. What decision does the audience have to make? Whether to hire you or not. Okay? So the individual is tied to the resolution. The resolution should be, I'm going to hire this spectacular speaker. The protagonist, meaning the hero, often sacrifices for a cause. What is your audience going to sacrifice? Time.
Yep.
They're giving you 5 precious minutes of their time. So during this, they undergo a psychological and sometimes a physical transformation. Well, what transformation are they going to make? One of maybe being neutral to being pro and positive towards you. You have got to move them from not caring who you are to thinking you're their next superstar. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, let's talk about the critical moment, and that's called the star moment. Something they'll always remember you by. There are different kinds of star moments. One of them one of you already mentioned was telling them a story, okay? And there are others, like a dramatization would be maybe showing a little clip of you singing or a little clip of you drawing. And I mean little, because this has to be in 5 minutes. Another one would be repeatable sound bites. That's when you say a phrase or a word several times. Like Martin Luther King did it in his speech, I have a dream, I have a dream, I have a dream. Began every stanza with that. That's sort of repeatable soundbite. Evocative visuals are visuals that bring out emotions, description, okay? Emotive storytelling, like one of our peers mentioned, telling a story that grips you, and it's a story about something courageous and ingenious and fantastic that you did, okay? And the last one is shocking statistics. Let me give you examples. Here's a dramatization. By the way, guys, they freak me out.
Yeah.
I don't do too well around mimes. These are repeatable sound bites. My favorite was Muhammad Ali. I float like a butterfly and sting like a bee.
Like a bee.
Yeah, I love that one. Okay. Shocking statistics. Okay. I want you to notice something about the statistics. First of all, it's cited. In other words, who said it? Second, here's the statistics. We are selling over 5 million songs a day now. Isn't that unbelievable? 5 million songs a day. That's the statistics. If, here we go again. If you left it there, it wouldn't be shocking. What makes it shocking is that you explain it and you put it in context. That's 58 songs every second of every minute of every hour of every day. Okay? So in modern terms, forgive the example, there have been so many COVID deaths so far. That's blank COVID death every blank minute. You explain the context, okay? Let me give you an example of what I mean.
It's literally a game changer.
Could you mute?
Looks like he's AFK.
Okay. You can unmute yourselves if you want to. Somebody was talking in the background. Sorry about that. Unmute yourselves. Okay. So back to what I was saying. If you don't explain the so what of a statistics, it's not impactful. So if you put out a number or a saying, like this is a very big number, but we don't realize the so what until he puts it in context. Does this make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a lot of people just sit there in a speech and they quote statistic after statistics, and aren't you bored and falling asleep? And it's like, who cares? Because
Not really.
they're not telling you the so what of it. And that's what you need to do if you use statistics. Okay, evocative visuals. Again, you know, the facts alone don't make an engaging presentation. My telling you this, you'll forget. If I put a quote here, you will get a certain emotions. You will get certain thoughts and understanding. Personally, I can't believe how much he looks like Bill Clinton, but hey, you know, other things do come out too, okay? What are some of the emotions or ideas that come out for for you from this picture? Read.
Guilt.
Go ahead.
Guilt.
Guilt, okay. Anything else?
That color they have on it's kind of a somber tone. Feels like it kind of pulls at your emotions a little just looking at colors.
Okay. In nowadays, if you saw this, more than 2,000 tropical forest plants have been identified by scientists as having anti-cancer properties. How does that make you feel?
It's making me think that they're eventually going to just tear them down to get those anti-cancer properties.
Okay. Good. Okay. Now let's try another one.
Seems like an excuse more than anything, just to cut stuff down.
What feelings are coming up here?
Destruction of a rain,
destruction.
of a forest, for plants.
A little louder, dear.
Sorry. Destruction.
Destruction.
Global destruction at that.
Global destruction. Okay, what else? Any emotions?
Just looks real messy, kind of strikes your anxiety a little bit and just kind of works you up some.
Okay.
At least for me.
So it makes you anxious, okay.
Yeah, I'm a neat freak, so I don't like that stuff.
Okay. Any other reactions?
It's conflicting.
Yeah.
Okay, Nathan?
The saddest thing that I see is like with that first picture, it almost actually brought me a little bit of like hope, because to be able to take those properties, you don't need to cut down the tree. You just need samples. And so you think, oh, this is great. We'll be able to create cures faster and better. But the truth of it is, before we were able to use any of those properties, we went in and cut things down for things like paper or, you know, just sad destruction of rainforests that didn't need to happen. And not only did we lose out on beautiful rainforests and the benefits that those bring, but we lost out on those properties. And sadly enough, that's true in a lot of different things, not only trees, but in animals and insects and all sorts of stuff. You know, they all die for pointless reasons, and we can use those things to learn and better our own circumstances.
Now, if I had put those words just on a white background, would you guys have gotten the actual meaning of what was trying to be said?
No.
Yeah, I think it would have got lost in it.
Yeah, because it is, I mean, I'm not saying that I mean one thing or another. What I'm trying to explain to you is the visual can define the meaning of the words. So if I put those words in a blank canvas, it does not bring out the same connotations than if I combine those words with an image. And this is why it's very important. Everybody getting that?
Yes.
It's like using a megaphone to amplify your signal.
It does. It really does. Very good. Okay, let's try to hear one. It says, how to tell great stories that engage everyone. Hopefully this will come through.
Hey guys, Michael Valmont here, and in today's video, we're talking about how to be a good storyteller. We love as human beings to get lost in good stories, whether that's books, movies, or someone that's really engaging us, telling us a fantastic story. So, good stories can be told by people who aren't celebrities, who are just ordinary people and lead ordinary lives. And we have to realize it's not necessarily the content of the story, but how it is.
The audio is getting cut out.
Amazing comedian, absolutely hilarious. So we'll be going through this clip and breaking down the components of what it takes to tell a good story so that you can go away and use this in your own life. you ever go out? I mean, because people would be on you, I would think you just on the boy in the plastic bubble. Yeah, that's right. But no disease ever touches me. No, actually, you know, I used to be freaked out about that sort of thing. I used to be, you know, when I first started getting famous, I bought into it, the paranoia, the whole thing, and I started thinking, so, you know, my friends said, just go out, have a good time. I want to go to Cirque du Soleil. I want to take my daughter there, you know, and they said, just go, it'll be all right. Just get a mustache or something, get a little disguise or something like that. So I know Hollywood people, you know, I got a mustache, I got a little spirit gum. Okay, so to begin with, a good story, you have to start with two different elements. The first is painting the scene and really painting the picture of what's going to happen in this story as things progress. And he does it really well here because he starts by saying, okay, when I first started getting famous, I was a little bit nervous to go out. I was a little bit shy, a little bit anxious. And speaking to one of my friends, and I really wanted to go to Cirque du Soleil. So he's painting this picture of what's going to happen, that he, despite being scared, is going to go out and actually challenge his fears, and he gets a fake mustache and he gets some gum to try and be someone else, to see if people would recognize him. And already we're set up for a really interesting story. So that's painting the picture and painting the scene, and a really important element. And you can see how descriptive he is as well, and really gives us that entire backdrop. And what does your daughter make all of this? You're looking at you like, well, what's that? Oh, she's cool with that. Like, Daddy's a freak. You're being a freak again, huh, Dad? Yeah. And no, honey, close the window. Hurry. Close the shades, dear. One thing that I suggest you do that Jim Carrey is really fantastic at doing is using vivid and emotive language. Now, Jim Carrey, because he's one of the best comedians in the world, can take it one step further. And his ability to imitate characters makes us feel as if they are right there. And we are right there in the moment, speaking with his daughter or speaking with the other people, as you'll see in this story. So another really important thing for you guys to do is to use really vivid and emotive language. And if you can, impersonate other people that were there at the time of the story. The other thing you need to know about storytelling is that a good story is emotional, whether that is happy, whether that is funny, like Jim Carrey's story, or whether that is sad and dramatic. To really engage us, it needs to have some emotion behind it. But, you know, so I got this mustache and I applied it, and I had thick glasses. I had a baseball cap, and I kind of thought I was getting away with it okay. You know, I got inside. Did you look to your eyes? I mean, you're different, of course, but did you look okay when you saw this? Yeah, it's a little freaky. It's a little freaky, like one of those, you know, talk show guests that did something real bad, you know? Any one of those recorders, you know, with my voice and stuff, but you know, so I got inside there, and I was doing pretty good. I was, hey, I'm pulling this off. Maybe this is the way I can live for the rest of my life. So what he does there is he's setting us up for the turning point. He's established what I call the norm of the story, and that is like everything was going fine. He's wearing the mustache. He's really painted that picture for us. He's gone to Cirque du Soleil with his daughter. He's enjoying it. He's got the mustache on, and he's really setting us up for kind of like the surprise or turning point or emotional spike in the story. And that's what you want to do. The story needs to have a natural arc to it. So you paint the picture, you hook people in with some emotion, and use vivid language, kind of use different people and characters in the story. And then, as you'll see, he leads us into the surprise and turning point. And so I got up to the vendor who's selling all this stuff, right, the Cirque du Soleil, and I kind of had my head down. I went, let me see. I'll have a large T-shirt and a small one for my daughter, please. And I waited, and he didn't seem to be doing anything. So I looked up, and he was staring at me like this. Like he'd just seen Jim Carrey in a fake mustache. Then I started, you know, walking my daughter to the seats, and people were yelling out, "Nice mustache, Jim! Hey guys, look, it's Jim Carrey, fake mustache!" The acrobats were stopping in the middle of routines. Jim Carrey, mustache effective. make you feel like a boob, doesn't it? You don't need that. But now I go, now I just said that better. I go out now, I go everywhere, depending on, my self-esteem level that day. So there you have it, guys. So he actually establishes the story, the turning point in the story, which is everyone recognized him, and he did some really funny impressions there. And if you can do impressions, and if you can be that expressive, look how expressive his face is. I think he's got to be one of the most expressive people in Hollywood and one of the most expressive comedians in the world. But he actually wraps up with the moral of the story, and the moral of the story is, look, now I just go out, like there's no difference between me wearing a fake mustache and me going out normally. So there you have it, guys. What you want to do is make sure the story is emotional, use vivid and emotive language, and try and do impressions, really paint the picture, add dialogue from the story, from the different characters in the story. And also, the other thing that he does, he tells the story in small, quick chunks of information, almost like a bunch of mini stories. And to make sure you establish the norm and then surprise people with the turning point in the story. If that was useful to you guys, don't forget, hit thumbs up, post a comment on any other storytelling tips that you have, and I'll see you in the next video.
Okay.
Hey guys, Michael Val.
There we go. Okay, guys, we're almost at the end. We have to talk about brainstorming. And brainstorming is basically warming up your brain muscle before coming up with an idea. So don't get caught up when you're brainstorming, trying to come up with a specific idea. The more, the better. So it's quantity, not quality, that you're looking for in brainstorming. Have any of you used brainstorming before? Good, okay. The most important thing with brainstorming is withhold judgment. Just come up with concepts, ideas, let it flow, then later come back and start. But brainstorming is just a way of warming up. Another thing that I use and some people use is called storyboarding or visual stories. And you can think of a story in your head and then kind of maybe doodle it or pick out slides you think would go with the story. And then one of the things that I do is when I think of a story, I pick out slides and I show it to my husband. And I say, can you identify from this pictures or these slides what you think my story is about? Can you tell what the beginning, middle, and end may be? And usually if you can identify that for me, then I'm picking visuals that match the story pretty well. So that's another thing you can do. Let's talk about the critical feedback. The feedback you give on your peer discussion. A lot of you are here. This week we need to move up here. So when you post feedback, you need to ask questions of your students on what they have posted. And you need to make suggestions about how they can improve their projects. Okay, so by the time we get to week 3, you're going to be able to post either your script or your first draft. And I want you to concentrate on these areas because this is how you'll really be able to help each other. We need to get beyond this. This was in the beginning when we were getting to know each other. You know, I can relate, I understand, I agree, that type of stuff. But now we need to start moving into these areas. How do we give feedback? Well, we tell them something good, we ask a question, and we give a suggestion. This is called the tag method. Let me show you some examples. Okay, some people call it the sandwich method. So again, there's, you know, a compliment, a suggestion, and then another compliment or a question. Here's another example. Okay. So everybody seeing how the feedback is qualitative. It's not the quantity, it's the quality. You are pointing out something good, but you're also pointing out areas in which they can improve. There's another example. You know, here's a simple one. Suggest that you use a transition on your slides. It will create a smoother flow. Okay? Also use the vocal toolbox. Honestly, give feedback that will help your peers. Don't make it personal, but make it qualitative. Any questions on this one? No?
No.
Okay.
I have
Are you
just a quick
ready?
question about the assignment. So just to make sure we're clear, we take a piece of art that we like and make a presentation about it, and then we put vocals describing it, correct? That's what we're doing?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to explain it next. If you hold on. Okay. We have 2.3, which is the emotional storytelling that you were telling. And then the presentation plan, which I referred to earlier as your script. So let's talk about the emotional storytelling, which is a narrative with visual impacts. So you're going to need a presentation software. That could be PowerPoint, it could be Adobe, it could be whatever presentation, Keynote, okay? But you have to have ability to have slides. Then what you're gonna do is you're going to, the first initial post is due this Thursday. You need to watch the video about Julian and the vocal toolbox. And the reason you need to watch it is because I'm going to be checking out these things on your presentation. Now, the register is where your voice originates from. Your chest, your larynx, your throat, that cannot be changed. The timbre is the sound melody of your voice, okay? We have different timbres, and that's not easy to change. The prosody we can change, because prosody is the combination of pace, how quickly you speak, the pitch, which is, you know, the frequency of the high and low notes you use, and the volume is how soft or how loud you speak. When you do this presentation, not only am I going to be looking at the content, but I'm also going to be listening to your voice. So I'm going to be looking at the pace, the pitch, and the volume. And you can change those to show emotion, to keep people interested in what you're saying. You're going to choose a favorite piece of media. That could be a movie, a song, a video game, a painting, a sculpture, a book, an actor, a performer. Anything that communicates can be considered a media. But here's the thing, it has to be of mass consumption, well known. It can't be something relatively unknown, okay? Because that's not mass consumption. It can't be some obscure poem, for example, that you wrote. It can't even be a song that you wrote, because that's not mass consumption. It's like worldwide consumption. Everybody clear on the meaning of media?
Yeah.
Questions? Okay. You have to feel some connection to it emotionally. You know, how does it make you feel? Then you're going to create 2 to 4 minutes audio visual. Audio, I have to hear your voice narrating. Visual, I have to see images. Okay? And you're going to address these prompts. Okay? Now, I want to give you an example of how I would do this. If you don't mind, humor me and listen for a few minutes, and I'll give you an example without the images, because I don't have the images, but I'll tell you how I would address this story. When I was 13 years old, my parents took me to France to go visit the Louvre Museum of Art. In this museum, I encountered a group of people just staring at one particular portrait. When I looked at it, it said it was, the sign on it said it was Mona Lisa. I looked at that portrait and I thought, what are they looking at? It's just an ugly woman on a picture. What is the big deal? But then the more I looked at it, the more fascinated I became. There was something in her eyes, that little glint, something in that smile, that crooked smile, that just kept me fascinated. And I kept looking and trying to figure out, what is it about this portrait that is so captivating? You know, I never did figure it out, but it became my favorite. And the reason it became my favorite is because it inspired me in life. It taught me a very important lesson. You cannot judge people superficially. You have to look deeply into their eyes, into their face, and really get to know what is underneath this mask that we all wear. So thanks to that portrait of the Mona Lisa, I learned to observe, not to judge, to look into people's eyes and reach their souls. Okay, that's how I would tell that story. As you notice, I covered the prompts, but I didn't actually do them like question, answer, question, answer. It was a story answering the prompts. That's what I need from you. Is that clear in that you need to do it as a narrative, not as a question answer? Okay, let me give you an example of another one done by a prior student that I think is just incredible.
King's Kaleidoscope is by far my favorite band right now, and their song, most of it, hits home in an authentic way for me. Now, I enjoy listening to music. It provides an escape. But not only that, we use music for everything. Cleaning your house, doing homework, on the job, the list is extensive. I stumbled across King's Kaleidoscope looking for a summertime playlist, and it was life-changing. The genuineness, the passion of their sound and lyrics captured a big part of my heart, and it led me to explore them more, leading me to most of it. Now, we all have moments when we make the most of a situation, whether it's a financial lack or the loss of a loved one or feeling unfulfilled. We just try to make the most of it. And find happiness. And at times, we feel like we're barely making it. I felt like this. But this creative expression comes through like an anthem. Not one of just getting by, but one of triumph, of victory, of breakthroughs and breakouts. This song reminds me of every promise to myself to keep going. And it fills me with joy and motivation. Who doesn't want that? I had a very dear friend of mine. She was my best friend and girlfriend. And we were tighter than bark on a tree. There were ups and downs, but she made life really bright. She made life fun. And there was just an authentic genuineness and innocence that you don't find anywhere. I felt like I could do life with this lady. But she passed. She died. And with her, every hope, every desire, and every missed opportunity gone with her. Just like that, in a moment. I had to do some soul searching. I had to make the most of it. But in time, with some prayer, with some courage, my most of it went from barely making it to seizing the day. And long story short, that attitude, that mindset has led me to 2 years of marriage, a completed 6 years in the military, and now I'm back in school trying to advance myself. This song is more than a song, it's a lifestyle. This song reminds me of that moment where I truly chose to make the most of it. And not only for that moment, but every moment to come.
Okay.
King's Kaleidoscope.
Did you guys notice that he used his voice to project his emotions?
Yeah,
Also,
I was gonna say, yeah, he was using his voice in different pitches and different volumes to express like his regrets and his sadness, as well as when he was very excited and very hopeful and passionate about the music.
did he keep you interested?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you notice that the slides were very reflective of his ideas and had very few text on them? They filled the screen, they reflected his ideas, but there was no text. There was no need for it. And the last thing, did you notice that he did touch upon all the questions, the prompts? He addressed them, but he didn't have to actually repeat the question. Okay? All right. When you finish doing yours, which is due Thursday, you are going to post it on the assignment area, and then you're going to go to the discussion area because you have to comment on 2 of your teammates' posts. Now, what am I going to say in those comments? Well, you can tell them how well they used the vocal toolbox or if they needed to improve. You can also talk to them about how they used the Hale method. And you can tell them what reaction you had to their artwork and how you perceive the creativity and how their story impacted or inspired you. So any questions on this assignment? And the 2 posts are due by Sunday. Question, Daniel.
What type of images would you want for them?
Images that match sort of the topic or the prompt that you're talking about, okay? So in my case, my story was about the Mona Lisa, so I would have maybe an image of a Mona Lisa, and then maybe an image of close-up of eyes, and an image of a close-up of a mouth, and then some books by Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover, that type of thing. So images that reflect your ideas. Matthew.
Is there a time limit for, do we have to keep it, is that what you're talking about, 5 minutes for this one?
No, it was
2 to 4.
2 to 4, or is it 2 to 3? Check the directions.
In this one, it said 2 to 4, but online it said 2 to 3.
Yeah, so let's put
2 to
it
3.
this way, aim for 2 to 3.
And there's no limit on, is there a certain amount of imagery that you want on there as far as how many pictures to use, or does it matter? Or?
Well, it doesn't, in the sense that the pictures have to match your idea at the time you're speaking. So
Right.
if you have too many images going real fast and they're not matching what you're saying, then you got too many images.
Yeah.
So just make sure that each image matches your main idea that you're speaking about. Okay, any other questions? Okay.
Want to do a video?
It needs to be a PowerPoint or Keynote, some kind of slide presentation with images. And then you have to put your voice over those images. If you are not able to insert voice on the images, then show the PowerPoint presentation and have someone videotape you delivering the story with the PowerPoint presentation.
So is the PowerPoint one that's for the that's due Thursday, right? The post?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Here we go to the next one.
Really quick,
Take me back.
Angel?
Tracy?
Yes, what software are you guys using for the PowerPoint? Is it Android friendly?
I can send you some links to them, but what are some of you guys using? Because there's a variety of them you can use.
I used iMovie.
I use PowerPoint, which you can get on Android, if I'm correct.
Cool.
I just use PowerPoint so that way I can save it to the cloud. And, you know, I primarily work from my computer, but if I wanted to do something on the run, just do it on my phone. It's what I found to be the easiest.
Yep,
Microsoft PowerPoint's on Android.
This week, I will be sending by tomorrow examples of the assignments and resources of presentation programs and free images, okay?
Okay.
So I hope that'll help you guys. All right, are you ready for the biggie? This is gonna be 2.4, and this is the start of your script for the first draft and final draft, okay? Now, first thing I want you to know is this is gonna be in a Word doc because you're gonna do a lot of writing. So please do not do this on a presentation program. This is a Word doc. You're going to develop a script that's like a story, but again, it's gonna address the prompts, okay? I'm going to show you the structure in which to do it. And I can email you the outline of the structure. But just for fun, these are the examples of the instructions that you will see on FSO. These instructions are a little bit complex and not in order. Okay?
Is it possible if you could click on it so the screen will be bigger?
Trying to see how I can.
Because I see many different boxes and the words are very small.
Can you guys see it? Is it also small for all of you?
I mean, it's readable, but it's kind of small
Pretty
for me.
small. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a bit small. I mean, I can read it as well, but
I can't really read it.
Okay, let me see if I can get this.
You can also access the PowerPoint just from the assignments. So in that way, when you scroll through the PowerPoint, it'll be bigger and you can read it a little bit easier, just so you're aware.
Thank you for adding that. Yeah, the 1.2 and now the 2.2 will always have the PowerPoint slides in there, plus a recording of this. So if you want to see the individual slides, you could go to that section and open it up. I apologize, I can't get it any larger. Okay? All right. Anyway, this is just tells you to know who your target audience and do the internet research. It asks you what's your big idea, who are you speaking to, why do you want to take this journey. Then it tells you, and then the middle is what could be, and then the call to action in the end. I don't want to focus too much on this because it's confusing. I want you to focus on this one. Can you see it clearly?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to begin by greeting them. Hello, Disney Studios. And you announce their name. Greetings, Disney Studios. Thank you for allowing me the time to present to you. I understand that your mission and vision is la-di-da. Why do we have to tell them their mission and vision, guys? We covered this before. Any hands?
To show that we actually care and are interested in where we want to work.
That's right. To show that you have done some research on them. You don't have to tell them their history. Don't say, I know you were founded in blah, 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 blah. More like you understand the reason for being. That's what the mission and vision. Explain to them how you connect with that vision and mission. And tell them that you know what they need that you can provide for them. Oops, hi, guys, apologize. Okay, then in the middle, you're gonna tell them what is your big idea. Remember we talked about the big idea, the vision, the thesis statement. Ian, you have a question?
Yes, but I'll just finish. I'll just ask you until you're after you're done, because it has to do with the other assignment.
Okay. Then this one's very important, guys. Let's not miss this. What you learned in Full Sail courses. Now this is going to be a tricky one because most of you are in the first course of your studies, right? So it's going to require that you do some research on the courses that are available in your specialization. I will send you a link on how to do that. Then when you do that, you've got to read the descriptions of what those other courses you'll learn in them. And then you have to make up 2 stories about something you did in those courses. And please don't misunderstand me. When I say make up, I don't mean lie. I mean, this is a creative presentation, so you have to do a certain amount of fiction because supposedly this is 5 years in the future, okay? So you're gonna have to get creative and say, in my graphics art classroom, I had a project to develop a character that represented me. So I developed a character that not only looked like me, but had on the clothes and the personality that I have. And my professor was so impressed with that, I got an A in the class, and it was submitted for a contest, and I won first place. So I don't want you guys to think I'm asking you to lie. I'm not. I'm asking you to be creative and write some aspects that may be within the realm of fiction. Okay? Everybody understand? And you have to do that for 2 courses. Same thing with the industry experience. You're not going to be able to give me true industry experience because some of you have it, but some of you don't. So you're going to have to create an internship or a volunteer experience or somebody that you mentored or somebody that you partnered with, okay? Then in the end, I am not good at this. In the end, you're going to have to summarize. This is what I offer. These are my skills. And then the famous call to action. If you like my vision, invite me to your team. Hire. Okay? Any questions on this outline? This is the structure. Now, you're not going to give me an outline. You're going to give me a script in paragraph form. However, you are going to follow this structure with these prompts. Let me see if this will open. If it doesn't, I have it posted in the, nope, okay. Well, if you go look in the community discussion board, you know, right after you post for this week, it'll be posted there. Any questions? Wish I could open this thing. No. Okay, these are just some verbs you can use in your story. I can send you this if you like it, or you can see it in the slides that's embedded. And finally, last name, first name, assignment name. This is my suggestion. Start working soon on both of these assignments. When you turn them in by Sunday, I will start grading the 2.4 first, because that's the one you're going to need to do your first draft in week 3. Okay? This, what you're writing right now, will be the script. Doesn't need any visuals right now. It's just a script. Questions? Ian?
Yes, I was just wondering, in the other assignment where we have to make a video, is it allowed? Are we allowed to use like excerpts from, for example, if I want to use an album as my as a piece of art I'm reviewing, can I
Somebody else asked me that question before, and here is my feedback. You've got 2 to 3 minutes to make that presentation. My focus is going to be on your voice, the vocal toolbox, and your images, and whether you address the prompts or not. So don't take too much time showing a clip of a video of a music or whatever, because that's not what I'm grading on. I'm grading on your voice. I'm grading on your use of visuals and your storytelling.
Okay, got it.
Now you can use it, but also don't forget to cite it if you do use it. And I would make it very short.
Yeah, that was me who asked that question because I was just going to use like a little snippet of the song. And I only used like 5 seconds in the beginning, and then it transitioned into me giving my presentation, and then another 5 seconds at the end. So
Yeah.
it was never overlapping my voice.
That's fine. I mean, as long as the story and your voice is the main focus.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions about the assignments? Either one of them, guys.
No questions.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
How can I view these slides offline?
Offline, you mean on
I
the
mean,
SSO?
Yeah, how can I view the slides?
Okay.
Is there a downloadable or?
The slides are already posted in 2.1 where you sign up for watching this. The video will be on there tomorrow, but there's also a slide deck, PDF that you can open.
Okay.
Okay. And any other questions? Okay. So tomorrow, open up your messages. Give me a little time in the morning, but open up your messages. You should have examples for what we're doing in the assignments and a lot of resources to help you. Okay. I hope this helped, guys. This is not a real simple one. This one is a little more complex. So feel free to reach out to me if you have questions or need help. Okay? Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you. You
Thank you.
too.
So much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.